Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning, and hope you're having a great start to your day and soon to become the Doctor is in podcast. We appreciate everyone, all of you, and those who can join us live. Well, thank you for that, and we appreciate that. Mike, you're number one. Brahim, you're number two. Surprise, surprise. Andrea, number three. Nothing surprising there. Sandy from Minnesota, good morning. Lynn from Sprucedale. Nick from our staff. Tina, Nova Scotia, good morning. Sandy, how are you? And Kevin from Oshawa. And Fran from Orangeville. All our dear friends, thank you guys. Gloria, how are you? Nellie, how are you? And Marianne from London, good morning. Donna from Bell Valley. And Dave, how are you? Janice from Brampton. Our family, we love you guys. Donna from Park Hill. Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. And Marilyn says hello from PEI. Linda from St. Jude, Quebec. Darlene, South Carolina. Grace, Fenwick, Wendy, Markham, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, Laurie, Cambridge, Frida, and Margie, beautiful, Kansas. And Bonnie, how are you? Little Britain, Donna. Lots of Donnas on with us this morning. Veronica, how are you? And Donna Tila, I think. I might have missed that. Robin, Connecticut, Bruno, and Luella, West Tennessee, Donna from Bell Ewart, Francis from Vaughan, good morning, and from West Virginia, who was that? Mary, Sydney, Nova Scotia, Elaine, and Geraldine from Astorville, Denise, Oakville, Patricia, Florida, Norma, Texas. Sue, good morning from Manitoulin Island. And who is that? I couldn't see. Rita. And Milika. And Karen, good morning. A couple of more guys and we'll get going. Mara, how are you? Julie, Newfoundland. Kelly, New Jersey. Leela, Werner. And Kristen from Saskatchewan. And Maria, Barbara, Kansas. And Patricia having her coffee. I had mine already. Brenda from Hamner. Linda from Bolton. Two more. I couldn't see that name. Oh, Cecilia, I'm pretty sure. Bonnie, Annandale, Minnesota. And Yvette from Saskatchewan. Sharon, good morning. Okay, you know what I'm going to call this? Confusion Tuesday. Okay? And look, I sort of mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to go over this again. Because just in the last week that I counted, okay, just in the last week, I got 12. I could be wrong. Might have been more, not less. Might have been more. I counted 12 times where people came on our private Facebook group, okay? Join the 22,000 people that are there on our private Facebook group, okay? Or like on Facebook, if you go to Martin Clinic Facebook group, okay, that's not our private Facebook group, but the other one, we have now 80, hold on, let me say, I'm going to say about 87,000 and change that follow us on Facebook. And we have over 4 million downloads of the Doctor is In podcast. You guys have made that successful. Now, getting back to what I was saying. On the private Facebook group, I got 12 times that people started the conversation on that group with, I'm confused. Okay? I'm confused. Because I heard one thing or I read another thing, and Dr. Martin says something else, says the complete opposite of that. I'm confused. Okay? I remember on my radio show, I used to say, don't be confused. Okay? Don't be confused. Why? Because I'm going to explain to you, and I want to be challenged, but I don't want you to be confused, but I can understand why that's possible. I can understand that. And in the last week, a lot of confusion. Okay? Because you hear one thing, and there's the other side. I get it. And then there's Dr. Martin. Okay? And guys, okay? I want to quote you what Jesus said. Okay? I want to quote you what Jesus said. Okay? In Matthew chapter 7. You know what he said? There's two roads. Okay? There's a broad road, and most people are on that. And then he said, there's a narrow road, and very few are on that road. But what he said was, the truth is on that narrow road. You know, follow me. Because the broad road, well, that don't lead to that leads to destruction. Now, look, guys, here's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to be popular. Okay? That's not my goal. My goal is to tell you the truth about your health. And I know sometimes that's very confusing because you're going to hear people on the broad road that tell you the exact opposite. I get that. I've been doing this for over 50 years now, and I understand that. I'm in the minority. But that doesn't make me not right. I think, and again, I am trying to convince my audience to, number one, think. And there's a generation that was ahead of me, my parents' generation. And my dad was one of the few people that went against the grain of that generation. Okay? Went against the grain. And I've told you his story of diabetes. And my dad, like taking my face and squeezing it and saying, son, listen to me. It's sugar diabetes. No more sugar for your dad. What? I was 16 years old. No more sugar for your dad. Okay. Then I get into nutrition, and they're trying to teach me moderation, and they're trying to teach me, even for diabetes, it's a genetic thing, and, it doesn't have that much to do with food, and here's a medication. This is in the 1970s. In the 1960s, my dad told me, no, it's sugar diabetes. I've never, ever, ever forgot it. I watched him completely change his diet. In the 1950s, 1% of the population had diabetes. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. Today, 50% of the population is either diabetic or pre. And I don't even like pre. The reason I don't like pre-diabetes, I don't like the term, is because diabetes is the last thing that happens in the body, not the first thing. It's the last thing that happens. Because your body is dedicated to controlling your blood sugar. It's dedicated. Your body is smarter than the gurus out there. Sugar is so toxic. Sugar is so toxic. Your body knows it. It will not allow it to park in the bloodstream. A little wee bit. It's a no parking. Your blood, you got 60,000 miles of blood vessels. It's a no parking zone for sugar. Hello? What does that tell you? Oh, Dr. Martin, I can't live without sugar. Sure you can. If your body needs a little teensy bit of sugar, it will take steak and turn it into sugar. Okay? So I learned, my dad, steak 6 nights a week, and on Sunday, roast beef. That was my father. My mother would make us a meal, and my dad a steak, because he always used to come home late from the office. True story. I watched it happen. Was I confused? Yeah, at first. I didn't know anything. My dad was my hero. He started jogging. He told us, this is a true story. My father came home, sat the family down, and told us he was a diabetic. Now, running through my head was my grandfather died of it. One of the few. In 1952, the same year I was born, my grandfather died of diabetes. Rare. 1%. I didn't know that statistic back then, but I knew my grandfather died of it. And I was scared skinny that my father was going to die. Okay? So I didn't understand it, but I knew enough. Anyway, the next day, my father changed his diet. Okay? I mean, you talk about in 1968, a paradigm shift. My father changed his diet, and my father started jogging. Now, that term wasn't even, well, it didn't even exist. The only time you ran in 1968, if the police were chasing you. I got up the next morning to go to school, and my father was jogging on the spot on the carpets. And my mother, after day one, kicked him outside. He said, "You're not jogging on my carpets." Well, she didn't even say the word. "What are you doing?" is what we said. My dad said, "I got to change my lifestyle. I'm taking responsibility. I'm going to change." Then I took 2,000 hours of nutrition in the 70s. Never once was I told that it was sugar diabetes. They had changed the name to type 2 diabetes. It was genetic, according to my teaching, and it was moderation. And you actually, if you had diabetes, you were told to eat chocolate bars. So that, because if you were taking insulin, you didn't want your sugars to go too low, so have a chocolate bar. I was trained like that. But I was not convinced because I watched my father eat steak. Why do you think I wrote the book, Son, Steak, and Steel? I mean it. Okay? Now, don't be confused is the topic today. Don't be confused. Okay? And some of these we're going to go over very, very quickly. I just wanted to tell you 12, and maybe there's 12 that I counted, where people are on our private Facebook group and saying, Dr. Martin, I'm confused. Okay? I thought this is the first one, and there's no particular order to them. I thought fiber was essential for you. And what do I say? Fiber is overrated. Okay? I got to add this because we talked about this. It's one of the confusing things, so we'll put this number 2 because they go together. I thought, Dr. Martin, I'm confused because I thought the best treatment for diverticulosis, which is little pouches in your bowel that can become impacted and infected and give you diverticulitis. And I thought, I'm confused, Dr. Martin, because my doctor told me to eat more fiber because I have diverticulosis. And as I explained in the past, even yesterday, that ain't true. It's the opposite of that. Any person that I saw that had diverticulosis, they had fiber coming out their ears. That's how much fiber they were eating. That was common. And I said, well, you know where spinach, okay, I used to use this illustration. Do you know what happens when you eat spinach? And they look at me, no. I said, where does it get caught often? In my teeth. They go like this. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you get spinach in your teeth. I said, yeah, that's what's getting caught in your bowel. And it can lead to diverticulosis. You're eating too much fiber. Your body wasn't built for that. Your body wasn't built to eat all that cereal and fiber and salad. You're not a rabbit. Your colon isn't made like their colon is. And you're not a cow because you don't have 4 stomachs to break. Cows eat grass, so you don't have to. Cows eat the salad. You don't have to. No. Okay, now listen. If you want to have a salad, go for it. Here's my motto. You can have salad. Don't live on it. Because what's confusing out there is fruits and vegetables are the highest on the food chain for 95% of all the gurus out there. Fruits and vegetables are the highest on the food chain for the dietitians out there, all of them. Fruits and vegetables is a religion. It's a belief system. I'm not saying they're no good. Okay? I'm not saying they're no good. But they're overrated because they're not on the top of the food chain. They should never have been put there. We got it upside down. Build a pyramid in your mind, and at the base of the pyramid, eggs, meat, cheese. On the little top of the pyramid, meaning you can have some, but don't live on them, fruits and vegetables. There's commercials. Oh, nobody eats enough fruits and vegetables, so why don't you take a supplement with fruits and vegetables that we dried out and made into a powder, and you're going to be the healthiest horse on the planet. No, you're not. No, you're not. Well, Dr. Martin, now I'm confused. See? You see? How many servings do you think you need of fruits and vegetables? Okay. Don't be confused. It's not a complete diet. And I know even yesterday, I scrolled afterwards and I saw the comments. And how many of you out there have relatives, friends, brothers and sisters, or daughters or sons, and they believe that the vegetarian diet is the best. It's the healthiest. I know. Confusing, isn't it? But here's the truth, guys. Eggs, meat, and cheese are the healthiest foods you can eat. And it ain't even close, guys. Like I've always told you, bring me the best fruit that you can think of. What would it be? An avocado? I don't know. What would you choose? And bring me the best vegetable that you can think of. Broccoli? I don't know. What would you think is the best number one vegetable in the world? Nutrient profile. And then I'm going to put it up against an egg or steak, beef. Guys, I used to play hockey. Okay? Never great at it. It's like putting me up as a hockey player against Wayne Gretzky. It ain't even close. It ain't even close. Okay? It's not close. I'm sorry. You're meant to eat meat. Your body was designed for it. Your stomach was designed for it. You got more acidity in your stomach, or at least you should have. You have a gallbladder. And you have a stomach that's so acidic, it'll burn. If you poured out its acid, it would burn a hole through your kitchen table. Or it should. But if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And that's what happens. That's why we see so many people with acid reflux. It's not because, oh, I know why, you're eating too much meat. No. It's because you're living on carbs. And now your body is screaming. Okay, you're not using me. The stomach says this. It talks. You're not using me. My acidity isn't as acidic as it should be. Now I'm going to really pour it on. So the proton pumps within your stomach start pouring out acid because you're in. When I say you, I don't mean you. I mean the world out there. The world insists on living on fruits and vegetables, living on wheat, bread, pasta, rice, cereal, sugar, sweets, pastry. They live on that. And all these carb-laced foods, your stomach goes, what are you doing to me? Remember the commercial? Where's the beef? That's what your stomach is saying. Where's the beef? The stomach is yelling, I'm made for steak. What are you doing to me? And now we have, I don't know, 70, 80% of the population got some form of digestive problems. You ever think for a minute, why? They're eating the wrong foods. They're loaded in carbohydrate. They're loaded in fiber. As if fiber, guys, you know what fiber, what Dr. Kellogg's wanted with fiber? He was a vegetarian. Imagine, born in the 1800s as a vegetarian. He was a nutcase. But he was so influential that he started the dietitian schools. He started it. The Kellogg's Institute. And today, it's on steroids. The fiber thing. And the fruits and vegetables have been put on top. He put them on top of the pyramid along with his, of course, cereals, right? He made cereal. I'm telling you. I kind of chuckle about it today. And I know I'm not in the majority. But I always rest my case on the reason that you need meat. There's just some stuff, and then especially steak, okay? Where are you going to get B12 without steak? Where are you going to get heme iron without steak? You can get iron. Popeye didn't get those muscles. Popeye lied, by the way. Remember Popeye? He lied. He didn't get those muscles eating spinach. He was eating steak, but he didn't tell you. Every time I used to see Popeye, I used to go, he's lying. You don't get muscles with spinach. I'm sorry. You just don't. You need steak, sun, steak, and steel. Now, I promised not to get, I promised myself that I wouldn't spend a lot of time on each one, but I couldn't help myself this morning. Don't be confused. Okay? Don't be confused. But I really like, guys, that you're asking. I got 12. I got a lot more. Well, you know what? I covered red meat. Okay, that was one of them. Oh, red meat and cancer. Red meat and cancer. Colon cancer. Someone put on there in the last week, Dr. Martin, I'm confused. My doctor, after a colonoscopy, said, if you want to die from colon cancer, eat red meat. There's nothing that gives me a migraine worse than that. Cancer hates steak. It hates it because it can't live on it. There's nothing in a steak that cancer likes. It just can't. Cancer cells, but if you see a cancer cell, they got little antennas and receptors on the cell. And you know what it's looking for? Sugar. And they designed a cancer screening called the PET scan. It ain't for your pets. It's for cancer screening. And the only way it works, you think the people that developed this machine, do you think they were stupid? But the only way it works, the PET scan, is they have to give you sugar before they put you in the PET scan. I remember talking to an oncologist one time, and they didn't even know, they didn't even think of it I said, hello? I said, Doc, how does a PET scan work? Because what happened is a patient, okay, I referred the patient to the oncologist because I was suspicious that this person had a tumor. I was right. Okay? And I got a call from the oncologist, and true story, guys, she says to me, well, don't you know this patient had cancer? I said, Doc, I'm the one who referred her to you. Oh, I guess you should have read my notes. Anyway. And she said, by the way, why are you telling that patient not to have any sugar? I said, Doc, very nicely, by the way. I said, Doc, you got a PET scan at the hospital, right? In your cancer center. You got a PET scan there? Yep. I said, how does it work? I don't know. I said, well, they have to give you glucose before they put you in the PET scan. True or false? She said, yeah, that's true. I said, well, okay. If it only, and then what happens? I said, if that's how you found that person had cancer. Right? She said, right. I said, well, because sugar will go right to the cancer from the head to the toes. That's how a PET scan works. They light up like a Christmas tree once you give them glucose, and if they have cancer in their body, from their brain to their toes. I said, that's how it works. Do you think that that's important? Nutrition is important? She said, I never thought of it. I don't know anything about nutrition. I said, I know. And I was nice about it. I said, well, listen. It's the first thing you should tell every cancer patient. Would you cut out the stinking sugar? Like nada. None. Yet. No more. You mean not even a little bit? No. You got cancer. You're feeding it. Don't be confused, guys. You don't need any glucose. Your body will make its glucose from steak. The macros you need are protein and fat. I'm not saying you'll never have a carb. I'm not saying that. Oh, I'm having fun today. Okay, I promise we'll get to these other ones. You guys know all this stuff anyway. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. I get excited, guys. I have a passion about your health. I do. Okay, guys. I'm going to breathe now. I've lost my migraine. And thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you more than you know. Now listen, let me just say something. Friday is question and answer. Some guys, you'll come on the private Facebook group and you'll put your questions there, and that's all right. But sometimes we don't always pick up those questions. If you want them answered on Friday, one way to do it for sure is to send that question by email to info@martinclinic.com. Info@martinclinic.com. That for sure will get on Friday. Okay? Like I said, you can put it in our private Facebook group, and most of the time we'll pick them up, I think. I answer some of them myself. Okay? But if you want it on Fridays, then I highly recommend you send us an email, info@martinclinic.com. It'll get to us and we will answer the questions. We want you to question. I want you to question me. Okay? Teacher needs to be questioned. Okay. We love you guys. Talk to you soon.